So we are reading the fifth agreement by Don Miguel, and we are on page 122 of the PDF.
Now, a simple question for you. I want you to understand the question, but don't allow that voice in your head to answer the question. Just allow these words to go directly into your heart, where you can feel the meaning and intent behind the words. This is the question: what kind of messenger are you? This is not a judgment, it's just a little doubt for your mind, but it's a big step into awareness. If you understand the question, then just this little doubt can change your whole life.
So again, what is the question, right? What kind of messenger are you? So this is something that we are constantly asking in awareness. Where are you operating from? What is the state of consciousness that you're operating from? Where in the grid are you operating from? Where in the map of consciousness? What is the level of consciousness that you're operating from, right? What is the intent behind whatever you're doing? So the intent behind what we are doing is much more important than what we are doing, right? So over here, very clearly, what is the messenger? What is the message that you're attempting to give to the world? Where are you operating from? Why are you doing what you're doing? These are, I think, questions that we need to constantly ask ourselves to really understand where we are, what are we doing? So this is a really profound thing and something that all of us must introspect on.
What kind of messenger are you? Do you deliver the truth or do you deliver lies? Do you perceive the truth or do you only perceive lies? The whole thing is between the truth and lies. This is the core of the problem, and this is what makes all the difference, because all conflict, whether it's inner conflict or conflict between humans, is the result of delivering lies and believing in lies.
So again, what are you perceiving, right? Whatever you're perceiving, that is what you're resonating with. So if you're going to be resonating with lies, that is what you're going to perceive. If you're going to be resonating with the truth, that is what you're going to be resonating with, or that's what you're going to be perceiving, right? So again, we come back to the four agreements. The four agreements says, again, over here, I have it written, be impeccable with your word. So now if you're impeccable with your word, you're aligned to the truth. If you're not taking things personally, again, you're aligned with the truth. Whatever is, right? Whether it's meant for you or meant for someone else, it really doesn't matter. The truth is the truth. Are you making any assumptions? So make no assumptions. If you're making an assumption, then it may not be the truth, right? It may be a lie. So we need to make no assumptions. And ultimately, are you doing your best, right? So again, when you align with the truth, you're automatically aligning with the first four agreements.
What kind of messenger are you? Are you a messenger of gossip and lies? Do you feel comfortable with all the lies, with all the gossip, with all the drama that comes as a result of believing in lies? Is that what you share with everyone around you? Is that what you teach your children? Do you still blame your parents for your troubles? Remember, they did the best they could. If your parents abused you, it wasn't personal. It was due to their own fears. It was due to what they believed. If they abused you, it's because they were also abused. If they hurt you, it's because they were also hurt. It's an ongoing chain of action reaction. Are you going to continue being a part of that chain, or is it over with you?
So this takes us back to the control dramas that we read in the Celestine prophecy. We keep repeating that because it's extremely important, right? What are the four control dramas? The intimidator, the interrogator, the aloof, and the poor me control dramas. Now, whenever we are getting into a control drama, you can trace it back to your parents, because your parents actually were in that control drama, and that's what you observed. That's what you were in when you were growing up. So you carry that control drama forward. Now, the way to get out of the control drama is to actually call it out. That means you're aware of it, that you understand that you're playing a drama. There's a facade which is being created, which is not the true you. The moment we start calling out the drama, we put ourselves in a position to transcend it. We put ourselves in a position to overcome it and not perpetuate it to our children, right? So again, very clearly he says, are you going to continue the control drama, or is it going to be over with you? And this can only happen when we start becoming aware of what we are doing, what are we being, where are we operating from? These questions again become very, very important.
What kind of messenger are you? Are you the warrior who struggles in between heaven and hell? Do you still believe people who tell you this is the truth? Do you still believe your own lies? What kind of message are you delivering to the people who love the most if the message that you deliver to yourself is guiding you into hell? What kind of message are you delivering to your children whom you love so much? What kind of message are you delivering to your beloved, to your parents, to your siblings, to your friends, to everyone around you?
So again, where are you operating from? Are you operating from the left side of the grid? Or are you operating from the right side of the grid? If you are operating from the left side of the grid, you are going to hell. Why? The basic point is that you're operating from a depleting state of consciousness. And what will you deliver? You will deliver only what you have, right? So if you're operating from the left side of the grid, that is the message that you're going to deliver to everyone around you. If you operate from the right side of the grid, then that is the message that you're going to deliver to everyone around you. So observing ourselves, what is the message that we are delivering will depend on the level of consciousness and where we are operating from. What is the state of being that we are operating from?
What kind of messenger are you? If you tell me what kind of dream you're creating for yourself, I will tell you what kind of messenger you are. How do you treat yourself? Are you kind to yourself? Do you respect yourself? Do you respect other people? How do you feel about yourself? Do you even like yourself? Are you proud of yourself? Are you happy with yourself? Is there any drama or injustice in your dream? Does your dream have a judge and a victim? Is it a dream of predators? A dream of violence? If so, your dream is distorting your message. The judge, the victim, and all those voices in your head are distorting everything.
So again, what are we here for, right? We are here to grow. We are here to really understand what is happening. And if anything is pulling us down, is not allowing us to go towards that goal, towards purity, towards the truth, then that means the message is being distorted, right? If we are operating out of fear, if we are operating out of anger, if we are operating out of guilt, if we are operating out of shame, right? All these methods of operating are not taking us into the place where we want to go, which is a place of wholeness, which is a place of oneness, which is a place of total coherence, right? So there's no distortion. When there's distortion, incoherent frequencies are there in your brainwave pattern. Incoherency is there in your body language. You're saying one thing, you're doing something else, right? That constantness, that depth of operation will never be there if there is a distortion in your field, in what you're saying and what you're doing, right? So where are we again operating from? What is the background noise going on? What is the background tone in our system That is extremely important to show us where we are coming from and where we are going. And again, awareness is the key, right? Only you can change something if you're aware of it. If you're not aware of something, you cannot affect it and you cannot change something. So that's why, again, awareness becomes very important.
Right now, you're delivering a message to yourself and to everyone else around you. You're always delivering a message and you're always receiving a message from one mind to another mind. What is the message that you are delivering in this world? Is the message impeccable? Do you even notice that you are always using symbols?
So again, we are constant, whatever you're thinking is being transmuted into the ethers. It's being transmitted, and anyone who's tuned into it, right, can actually receive the messages that you're receiving. So we think we can hide things from people, but in actual fact, nothing is hidden. If you can tune into that frequency, you can know anything that is happening around the world. So again, what are you transmuting? What are you thinking about? How are you acting after the thought is there, right? Again, is the thought is uplifting you, or is the thought pulling you down? Let us start really observing that whenever we are taking any kind of action. Okay, so now this becomes so important that it is really not funny. We need to understand and see, the other fact over here is that we need to see what is our self-talk also. How are we talking to ourselves? What do we think of ourselves? Are we creating a facade when we are interacting with people? Or are we being true to ourselves? Are we accepting ourselves for what we are? Or are we pretending to be something and we are actually something else? Again, if you're putting up a facade, again, it's a problematic thing, right? So we need to really understand, where are we going from? How are we acting with some people, right? The way that you behave with people who can give you nothing. Are you reaching out to support people when they need the support without expecting anything back? Or are you doing everything with an agenda? Where are you operating from? Again, that is the question that we need to ask ourselves. Over here, he's asking it in the method of what is the message you're giving? What kind of a messenger you are? In awareness, we are talking about where are you operating from? It's basically the same thing, but this is something that all of us need to become consciously aware about. Okay, Shrimangala has taken a short break. Anyone, anything to add or say in this? No one wants to say anything. Okay, I'm just pausing once. Shrimangala is just coming. Did you get what I'm saying, Nina?
Yeah.
Yeah. And this is actually true, whatever, and this is, again, we've not read that book, The Hidden Messages in Water. We have clearly seen Dr. Emoto could show us that even the word put on a glass of water and the water inside that affects the way that the water behaves. And we are 70% water. So what we are thinking, don't you think it's going to affect the water in our body?
True. Yeah.
So it is going to affect us now, whether we like it or not.
Thank you.
So that's why observing our thoughts, the way that we are behaving, what are we doing, how are we being, right, becomes extremely important.
Yeah. Thank you.
Just observe the messages that you're delivering. Are the words that you're speaking coming from the truth, or are they coming from the voice of knowledge, the tyrant, the big judge? Who's delivering the message? Is it the real you? This is your dream. If it's not the real you, then who is delivering the message? Isn't that a good question?
So again, are you speaking the truth, right? Where are you coming from? Is the judge in you? Are you constantly judging people? Are you constantly criticizing people? Are you constantly after people? If it's the true you delivering the message, then it will come out of truth. It is not going to come out of lies. You're not going to say, it's not going to be gossip. It's not going to be based on assumptions, right? When you're really clear about something, that is when you will deliver that message. When you deliver the message, is it really, how is it affecting the other person? Is it pulling the other person down? Is it creating value for the other person? Is it creating some harmony in the other person's life, or is it creating disharmony? That is what we need to observe all the time. Someone had their hand up.
Yes, Bhaiya, I wanted to share an experience with
Go
you
ahead.
regarding
Go
the
ahead.
water.
Go ahead.
So 2 days in a row, I had a headache in the morning.
Hmm.
So मैंने आपका याद किया सुबह में, and I told the water I was drinking that you are going to cure my headache, and I love you, and you are very curative for me. And lo and behold, I really became all right in half an hour.
Wonderful. Great.
Thank you so much for
Beautiful.
your tip.
Yeah, absolutely. So whatever we are eating, whatever we're drinking, we can always bless and we can instruct them, right? Or request whatever we are doing to behave in a particular manner with us.
Can you see the impact of the words that you reflect to others as you speak? Just imagine that you are talking to a wall. Don't expect an answer. It's not for the wall to hear what you're saying. It's for you to see what is coming out of your mouth. It's for you to begin to see the impact of your words on everything around you. By talking to a wall, your message becomes more and more clear. After that, the importance of impeccability becomes obvious.
So again, when you're talking to the wall, there's no one to hear, right? You are going to be hearing what you are saying. So you become aware of what you're saying. So that's the basic point over here, right? To be aware, not speak unconsciously, speak consciously as to what is the impact that what you are saying is having in other people's life or even in your own life. Because when you say something, it impacts you more than what it impacts the other person. So we have to be very clear about that.
Now, I want you to use your imagination to see the kind of interactions that you have had in your entire life with other people. I'm sure you have lots of memories of your interactions with everybody around you. People are always delivering messages to you, and you're always perceiving their messages. What kind of messengers are the other people in your life? What kind of messages did they deliver to you during your whole life? What kind of messages did they deliver to you during your whole life? How did all those messages affect you? Out of all the messages that you received from other people, how many of those messages did you agree with and take as your own? How many of those messages are you still delivering now? If you're delivering somebody else's messages, whose messages are you delivering?
So again, as we need to be aware of where we are operating from, we also need to be aware of where people around us are operating from. It is said that if you know the 5 friends of a person, you know the person. What does that imply? The time that you're spending, the most time that you're spending with a person, right? That person's personality will reflect in you. So it's very clear, right? To understand where the others around you are operating from, whether they are lifting you up or whether they are depleting you. Where are they operating from? So we need to be very clear of what is the associations that we are going to make. Who are we going to spend time with? What are we going to do when we are spending time with people? Is it uplifting? Is it depleting? That is a question that we need to constantly ask ourselves.
Just have the awareness of the kind of messages that you've delivered your entire life and the kind of messages that you've received your entire life. You don't need to judge anyone, including yourself. Just ask, what kind of messenger am I? What kind of messengers are the other people in my life? This is a big step in the mastery of awareness. It's a big step in being a seer.
So again, the moment we start understanding where I am operating from and where the people around me are operating from, I know where I am. Am I a victim? Am I a warrior? Or am I a seer?
Once you are aware of the messages that you're delivering and the messages that other people are delivering to you, your point of view shifts strongly and firmly.
So again, the first step in solving any problem or taking any steps is awareness. The moment we start becoming aware of where we are operating from and where people around us are operating from, we can shift our state of consciousness from the left to the right side of the grid.
You clearly see the messages that other people are delivering to you, and you clearly see what kind of messenger they are. Then the moment comes when your awareness is so expansive that you clearly see the messages that you're delivering to other people. You see exactly what kind of messenger you are. You see the effect of your words, the effect of your actions, the effect of your presence.
So where you're operating from will affect everything that is around you, right? So I think this is a question that all of us need to answer to ourselves. Are we happy in our own company? Would we ourselves like to be with ourselves? Right? That's a question that we need to ask ourselves. So what is the message that you're giving to people around you? That's the same message that you're giving to yourself. So this introspection of what kind of a messenger you are or where you are operating from, I think it's something of prime importance. All of us must be really aware of this issue.
You are always delivering a message to everyone and everything around you, but mainly you are always delivering a message to yourself. What is the message? That message is the most important one because that message affects your whole life. Are you the master who delivers the truth? Are you the victim who delivers lies? Well, it doesn't really matter if you are the master or if you are the messenger of gossip, full of poison, or if you are the warrior and you go up and down from heaven to hell, from hell to heaven. You deliver the information that you have inside you. It's not right or wrong or good or bad. It's what you know.
So again, what is the message you're going to deliver? You're going to deliver the message that is in you. So suppose I squeeze an orange, I will not get apple juice. I will get orange juice, right? So what is the message you'll deliver is whatever is in you. You cannot deliver anything else. So what you're delivering is a very clear indication as to who you are. So when we start becoming aware of our message, we start understanding who we are. And that's very, very important to live a life which is effective, the life which we really have come here to achieve. What have we come here to be, right? It becomes very important.
It's what you learned your whole life, and it doesn't really matter what you learned. It doesn't really matter what you have been teaching, what you have been sharing. What really matters is to be what you really are, to be authentic, to enjoy life, to be love, and not the symbol of love that humans have distorted, but real love.
So again, there's a very big difference between love in the when we talk about it in the map of consciousness and the love that we talk about here, which is actually lust. It is not love, right? Because the moment the person that you say that you love starts doing something that you don't like, that love goes out of the window. When you truly love from the authentic state of love, then it really doesn't matter what anyone else does because it's the state of being that you are operating from. It is not dependent on anything else. This is the love that he is talking about over here.
What really matters is to be what you really are, to be authentic, to enjoy life, to be love, and not the symbol of love that humans have distorted, but real love, the feeling you can't put into words, the love that is the result of being what you really are. Always remember, you are the force that's creating everything in existence. You are the force that opens a flower and moves the clouds and the earth and the stars and the galaxies.
Now, this is why, because we are creating our reality, right? So anything that is manifesting into our awareness, we are the creator of that reality, because we are the ones who are observing what is happening. If we are not observing something, it is not in our reality. So we are the creators of our reality.
Whatever your message, love yourself anyway because of what you are, because you respect what you are. You don't have to be different unless you decide that you love yourself so much that you are no longer satisfied with the kind of messenger you are.
So the first step in this direction of love is to start loving yourself, accepting yourself for what you are. Now, if you don't like what you are, then only you can change what you are. Otherwise, you cannot change it. So becoming aware of what you are and loving yourself the way you are is the first step towards consciousness expansion, towards growth, and what we've really come here to achieve.
Perhaps you've misused the word because you were innocent, because you didn't have awareness. But what happens when you have awareness and you're still doing it? Once you have awareness, you cannot claim innocence anymore. You know exactly what you're doing, and whatever you're doing is still perfect. But now it's your decision, it's your choice. Now the question becomes, what kind of message do you choose to deliver? Is it truth or is it lies? Is it love or is it fear? My choice is to deliver a message of truth and love. What is yours?
So again, Robert Monroe also says this in his first lecture in the Gateway Voyage, right? We need to take responsibility. We become responsible as soon as we become aware of something. So the example he uses it is that when a young boy or a small boy goes and touches a hot stove, right? The boy, till he has not touched the stove and understood that it is hot, is innocent towards that. If he touches the hot stove, his hand is going to be burned. Now, as soon as he gets that experience and becomes aware of it, now he becomes responsible as far as touching the stove is there, right? Because he loses his innocence towards touching the stove. So the moment we become aware of something, we lose our innocence towards it. We need to take responsibility for whatever we are doing. We cannot blame anyone for what is happening to us. We are creators of our reality. So we are responsible for the reality that we are creating around us. No one else is responsible. This is something that we need to really understand and get it, right? Because this is the core of our being, that we need to take responsibility for ourselves.
Epilogue. Help me to change the world. If you are no longer satisfied with the kind of messenger you are, if you want to become a messenger of truth and love, then I invite you to participate in a new dream for humanity, one in which all of us can live in harmony, truth, and love.
So again, if everyone looks out for everyone else, if everyone is caring for everyone else, right? Do you think there is going to be war? Do you think there's going to be a shortage? Do you think that there's going to be disharmony? Because everyone is looking out for everyone else. If everyone is operating from the right side of the grid, there's not going to be any disharmony anywhere.
In this dream, people of all religions and all philosophies are not just welcome, but respected. Each of us has the right to believe whatever we want to believe, to follow any religion or philosophy we want to follow. It doesn't matter whether we believe in Christ, Moses, Allah, Brahma, Buddha, or any other being or master. Everybody is welcome to share this dream. I don't expect you to believe all my stories, but if they resonate inside you, if you can feel the truth behind the words, then let's make one more agreement. Help me to change the world.
So again, to help anyone to change the world, in fact, I think the first thing that we need to do is to become aware of ourselves, to change ourselves. If we change ourselves, I guess we are changing the world. Again, if you look at it from a wider perspective, we are creating our reality. So we are living in a consensual reality. If we change ourselves, we are changing the world. So that's the first step towards any kind of growth. Change ourselves, work on ourselves.
Of course, the very first question is, how are you going to change the world? The answer is easy, by changing your world. When I ask you to help me to change the world, I'm not talking about planet Earth. I'm referring to the virtual world that exists in your head. The change begins with you. You will not help me to change the world if you don't change your own world first.
So again, the first step is to change our world. Where are we operating from? What are we being? Are we living a lie or are we living in the truth? Where are we and where are we being? And how are we being?
You will change the world by loving yourself, by enjoying life, by making your personal world a dream of heaven.
So again, whether you're living in hell or whether you're living in heaven, it's all in the head, right? If you change your perspective, something that is hell can become heaven. And again, if you change your perspective, something which should be heaven becomes hell. Because we don't pay attention to what is, right? When we start paying attention to what is and start operating from that inner stillness that is there in all of us, right? That shift that is there. You can find heaven everywhere. This hell and heaven is created by us because we are the ones creating our reality.
And I ask you for your help because you are the only one who can change your world. If you decide that you want to change your world, the easiest way is by using the tools that are nothing but common sense. The 5 agreements are tools to change your world. If you are impeccable with your word, if you don't take anything personally, if you don't make assumptions, if you always do your best, and if you are skeptical while listening, there won't be any more war in your head. There will be peace.
So again, if you are impeccable with your word, you're not going to say anything that you're not sure about doing, you're not sure about being. If you're not going to take things personally, something may be said, right? Someone may call you a donkey, doesn't mean that you're a donkey, right? If you're not making any assumptions, so you're not making any assumptions, you're actually perceiving what you're perceiving and then you're saying it. And you're always doing your best. And you're always looking for answers. You're constantly asking a question. How, why, what, how are we going to do it? Again, operating from the right side of the grid, right? If you're going to start questioning from the left side of the grid, then you've had it because that's what you're resonating with. You're not a possibility thinker. You become an impossibility thinker. So skepticism from the right side of the grid, to open yourself up, to grow. That is the kind of questioning that we want. In Hindi, there's something called tark and there is kutark. Over here, he means tark, that you're questioning what is, right? You're questioning how to improve. When you do kutark, it means that you're trying to find fault. You're trying to poke holes from the negative perspective, right? From a depleting perspective. That is not the skepticism that he's talking about over here. You're skeptical to grow. That is the skepticism that he is talking about over here.
If you practice the 5 agreements, your world will become better and you want to share your happiness with the people you love. But changing the world is not about changing the secondary characters of your story. If you want to change the world, your world, the way to do it is by changing the main character of your story. If you change the main character, then just like magic, all the secondary characters will start to change also. When you change, your children will change because the message that you deliver to them will change. The message that you deliver to your wife or your husband will change. Your relationship with your friends will change. Perhaps more important, your relationship with yourself will change.
So again, you are creating your reality. So the way that you're perceiving things, the way that things are occurring to you is what your reality is. So I'll just share an example. I've been doing biofield tuning for a young lady. She may be about 35 years old, right? And she was having a conflict with everyone in her family. We started doing biofield tuning, and then we attempted, or using the clearing and using various methods, we attempted to change the way that she was perceiving reality, the way that she was behaving. When she changed herself, after a few sessions, she comes and says that I don't know what's happened, but everyone is talking nicely to me. Everyone is behaving well to me, and I'm feeling very, very happy. Where? Because she started becoming aware of where she was operating from. The moment that awareness came into her being, everything in her life started to shift. This is a real example. This is exactly what he's talking about over here.
When you change the message you deliver to yourself, you are happier. And just by being happier, the people who live around you will also benefit. Your effort is really for everyone because your joy, your happiness, your heaven are contagious. When you're happy, the people around you are happy too, and it inspires them to change their own world.
So again, where are you operating from? Are you pulling the people around you down? Are you pulling them up? Right? Are you operating from wholeness? Are you operating from selfishness? Where are you operating from becomes extremely important. When people are around you, are they uplifted or are they getting depleted? Do you suck the energy out of people or are you elating people? When they come into your contact, do they leave your presence being depleted or do they leave your presence being uplifted? Start observing, right? And feel it. That's when the shift will start to happen.
When you change the message you deliver to yourself, you are happier, and just by being happier, the people who live around you will also benefit. Your effort is really for everyone because your joy, your happiness, your heaven are contagious. When you're happy, the people around you are happy too, and it inspires them to change their own world. We represent a whole legacy, and when I say we, I'm speaking for all humans. Our legacy is love, it's joy, it's happiness. Let's enjoy this world. Let's enjoy one another. We are meant to love one another, not to hate one another. Let's stop believing that our differences makes us superior or inferior to one another. Let's not believe that lie. Let's not be afraid that our different colors makes us different people. Who cares? It's just another lie. We don't have to believe all the lies and superstitions that have control of our lives. This is the time to end all the lies and superstitions that are not helping anybody. This is the time to end the fanaticism. We can return to the truth and be messengers of truth.
So ultimately, what's the game? To increase our level of consciousness, where we are operating from. And as we go higher on the scale of consciousness, We come into love, we come into joy, we come into peace, we come into bliss, we come into enlightenment, right? That's the place that we need to be in. We are not wanting to be in shame, in grief, in fear, in arrogance, in pride, in all those lower emotions. Anything below the level of 200 in the scale, in the David Hawkins scale of consciousness. And the moment we start, transcending whatever is pulling us down, removing our attention from anything that is pulling us down, and start paying attention to what is good, what is uplifting, then we attract more of that upliftingness, that growth into our lives. If we are constantly focusing our attention on what is depleting, that is what we are perpetuating in our life. That is what is going to come more into our life. So where do we pay attention? How are things occurring to us? That is the game that is actually driving our reality, whatever we are experiencing. So what are you focusing your attention on? Ask yourself that question.
We have a message to deliver, and that message is our legacy. When we were children, we received the legacy of our parents and our ancestors. We received a wonderful world, and it's our turn to offer our children and grandchildren a planet where they can live as wonderfully and as well as we do now. We can stop destroying our planet. We can stop destroying one another. The humans can live in harmony. It's incredible what we can do if we really want to do it. All we need is to be aware of what we are doing and to return to our authenticity.
So again, coming back to basics. A baby is totally loving. The baby has no prejudice, right? It has no distinction of, there's a diamond and a stone. The baby is not going to pay any extra value to a diamond than it pays to a stone. That is where we need to come back. We need to come back to what we truly are, to our basics, returning to our authentic selves.
I know that we have our differences because we live in our personal dream. But we can respect one another's dream. We can agree to work together, knowing that each of us is the center of our own dream. Each one of us has our own beliefs, our own story, our own point of view. There are billions of different points of view, but it's the same light, the same force of life behind each one of us.
So again, ultimately, all of us are coming from the same source. So that light is what we are professing to. That is where we are going, right? So the moment we start tuning into that frequency, into that vibration, and we start resonating with that, automatically all the chaff is going to fall off. This is something which is given.
Help me to change the world is an invitation to be authentic, to be free. Open your heart to receive this agreement. I'm not asking you to try to change the world. Don't try to do it. Just do it. Take the action today.
Okay, so now if you're trying, there's effortfulness, right? We want to move into the state of consciousness effortlessly. So it has to be something that you are. You're connecting with your authentic self, right? So why should it be effortful? You just need to be it. You just need to do it. It should happen. We don't need to make it happen. It should just happen. That's the shift that we are looking into or looking for into our state, that how we are living life.
The legacy that we leave to our children and grandchildren can be magnificent. We can change our whole way of thinking and show them how to have a love affair with life. We can live in our personal heaven that follows us wherever we go. It's not true that we come to this planet to suffer. This beautiful planet Earth is not a valley of tears. Our new way of thinking can replace all those lies and take us to a wonderful place to live life.
So again, this is not a place for suffering. When we are going into these expanded states, and many people who've had near-death experiences, etc., come back with the message that this is a school, this is a place of learning, this is a place of growth, this is a place of experiencing. And what we experience here is valued when we go into those other states of consciousness, right? Simply because the experience that we garner here is very, very valuable. It is not something that when we are going into where we actually come from, they cannot experience these experiences. So there's a lot of value to the experiences that we are having here, right? And how you are taking or how that experience is occurring to you is the game that we need to play. We can be in heaven and hell at any point in time. And we are the ones who are creating that heaven and hell, right? The moment we understand that, the whole game can change. Where are we operating from? Again and again, that's the question that we need to ask ourselves.
Wherever I go, I hear people say that we come here with a mission, that we have something to do in this life, something to transcend. Whatever it is, I don't know. I believe that we come here with a mission, but our mission is not really to transcend anything. The mission that you have, and the same mission is true for all of us, is to make yourself happy. The how could be millions of different ways of doing what you love to do, but the mission of your life is to enjoy every single moment in your life. We know that sooner or later our physical bodies will no longer exist. We only have a few sunrises, a few sunsets, a few full moons that we can enjoy. This is our time to be alive, to be fully present, to enjoy ourselves, to enjoy one another.
Okay, so again, the basic point is to be passionate about what you do, right? To love what you do, to enjoy whatever is happening with you. The moment we can do that, we automatically shift into the right side of the grid. And then we can really garner the real cream of whatever we are experiencing. How is the thing that we are experiencing occurring to us determines whether we are in heaven or whether we are in hell, right? So we are the people who are actually deciding whether we are happy or we are unhappy. And the game is to be happy in whichever situation you are. Find something to be grateful for. Find something to appreciate in whatever is happening, and I can write it and give it to you. You will be happy. Okay, so that's the game, to be grateful, to be appreciative of whatever is happening.
In the last century, science and technology have grown so fast, but psychology has stayed far behind. It's time for psychology to catch up with science and technology. It's time for us to change our beliefs about the human mind, and what I see right now is almost an emergency, because with computers and the internet the way they are right now, lies can go all around the world very quickly and get completely out of control.
So again, with social media, right? Someone posts something and boom, 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 it goes, right? 9 out of 10 times you're not even sure whether what has been posted is authentic, whether it's just a made up thing, is it the truth or it's not the truth, right? So, and then that's where we need to be very careful as to what we are exposing ourselves to. Let me tell you, I've stopped seeing the news. I don't read newspapers anymore. You pick up a newspaper and 90% or 95% of the stuff there is all depleting. And half the time you do not know whether it is the truth or not the truth. And when we look at it from the perspective of zero limits, whatever comes into your awareness, you become responsible for. Why? Because you are creating your reality. And if it's come into your awareness, then you are the creator of that. So what are we creating? What are we subjecting ourselves to? Again, becomes a very big question mark. So we need to understand where we are operating from when we are exposing ourselves to stuff that is not authentic, right? So again, 90% of the stuff that's going around in the media is all bunkum, in my view. And again, they keep repeating the same thing from different perspectives, right? You start one TV channel, they'll give you one perspective about it, and they start another TV, you'll hear a totally different perspective about it. But what is the truth? There is no one telling the truth because it's all TRP based. So we have to be careful about social media.
The time is coming when humans will no longer believe in lies. We begin with ourselves, but the goal is
Shivamala, we can't hear you.
The time is coming when humans will no longer believe in lies. We begin with ourselves, but the goal is to change the entire humanity, not just our own world. But how can we change the entire humanity if we don't change our own world first? Of course, it's not easy to separate because in reality, we have to do both at the same time.
So the main point here is to change ourselves. The moment we change ourselves, our reality also starts to change. When we change our frequency of vibration, what we are resonating with will automatically change, right? So if you raise your level of vibration, if you raise your level of consciousness, if you raise the way that you are operating, where you are operating from, you change that, you will change your reality. So the first step in any change is to change ourselves.
Then let's make a difference in this world. Let's win the war in our head and change the world. How long will it take the entire world to change? 2 or 3 or 4 generations? The truth is that we don't care how long it will take. We are not in a hurry, but we have no time to lose. Help me to change the world.
So again, time and space, when we are going into expanded states, time and space don't exist, right? So we have all the time in the world to change. Having said that, the point is to start immediately. The moment we start, we take things, we start to shift things. I think we've come to the end of this book now. Yeah, great. So we can stop here.